President's office. The night is peaceful and the sky is low. The whole city grows quiet as darkness falls. You are sitting in Marius' office waiting for him to get off work. You casually open a popular ebook to pass the time. Starting when they were kids, the main character in this story gave his girlfriend a gift every year. Even though it's a little cliche, it still sounds pretty romantic when reading this part of the story. Wait a second, speaking of gifts, what should I get Marius for his birthday this year? Before you can continue your train of thought, a pair of strong arms wrap around your shoulders from behind. A warm and familiar scent follows.
누나, 무슨 생각을 그렇게 해요? 일 끝내자마자 고민 가득한 얼굴이라니. 기다리느라 지루했구나? 아니면 소설이 별로예요?
Marius sits down next to you as he speaks. Glancing at your screen, he raises his eyebrows slightly. You quickly lock the screen so he won't catch onto your thoughts, and then try to change the subject. No, but you were so quiet when you came in. You surprised me.
하늘의 맹세코 그런 적 없어요. 누나가 너무 집중했던 거지. 그나저나 고민 있는 표정이던데 무슨 일 있어요?
Seeing that Marius isn't letting it go and stubbornly insisting on getting an answer from you, you can only pretend to be stressed out and make up an excuse. Well, what else could it be? I'm just a little tired from work lately. It's easy to get stressed when I think about all the work I haven't finished yet. Upon hearing this, Marius is seemingly reminded of something. He is surprised for a moment, but the same troubled expression you just wore suddenly makes a reappearance on his face.
안 그런 사람이 어딨어요. 나도 이번 주 내내 밤낮으로 회의하느라 심란해 죽겠는데요. 진짜 좀 푹 쉬고 싶어요.
He's been working so hard. Just as you are about to speak up and comfort Marius, he makes the first move and she's closer to you. His troubled expression vanishes in an instant, and he soon grows relaxed, perhaps even somewhat cunning.
그럼 똑같은 고민 가진 사람끼리 기분 전환도 할 겸 나랑 재밌는 거 해볼래요?
Your expression changes so fast. Are you sure those meetings you mentioned weren't just an excuse?
그건 아니에요. 회의 때문에 피곤한 것도 누나랑 같이 쉬고 싶은 것도 진짜라고요. 옛말로 일보 후퇴, 이보 전진. 원하는 사람은 스스로 걸려들게 되어 있다. 라는 말도 있잖아요. 동정심 유발 작전을 써본 거죠.
It sounds like he just made that up, but I have to admit, I did feel bad for him for a second there. To avoid appearing like you've been tricked, you clear your throat and sit up slightly. So, what do you want to do together?
잘 모르겠어요.
Huh?
전에 누나랑 같이 해보고 싶어서 시온 씨한테 신기하고 재밌는 것 좀 찾아달라고 부탁했거든요. 그랬더니 새로 나온 건데 커플끼리 하기 좋은 놀이라면서 오늘 아침에 박스 하나를 주더라고요. 근데 너무 바빠서 아직 뜯어보지도 못했어요. 아예 지금 같이 열어볼래요?
A spark of hope glimmers in Marius' eyes. It appears particularly bright in contrast to the dark sky. It seems like he's really looking forward to playing with you. Without giving it another thought, you nod in agreement. After Marius goes to grab the package, you open it up together. You rip away the outermost layer of cardboard to reveal a beautifully crafted box with the words True Lovers printed on it. There are also several big and small items contained within the box. The game is called True Lovers. That's a pretty special name.
그러게요. 일단 어떻게 하는지부터 볼까요?
Sure. Marius takes out the instruction booklet from the box, spreading it out on the coffee table.
커플은 규칙에 따라서 도면을 그리고 매일 출발점을 하나씩 선택한다. 각 출발점은 교차된 선을 통해 한 도착점으로 이어진다.
Players need to complete the corresponding tasks in the instructions according to the symbol at the end point. If the player successfully completes 7 tasks in 10 days, they are considered true lovers. You look at Marius after reading the final sentence in the instructions. Judging by his smile, you can tell that the game sparked his interest.
흥미롭네요. 재밌을 것 같아요.
Looks like you're determined to win.
당연하죠. 이 세상에서 우리보다 더 서로한테 진심인 커플은 없을걸요? 어때요? 같이 해볼래요?
You glance at the cardboard box holding the game and back at Marius. It looks like Marius really wants to play. Maybe I could use this as an opportunity to get some inspiration for his birthday present. 2. Why not? The corners of your lips raise slightly as you make up your mind. Alright, let's do it together. Then, what should we do now? Should we start with the drawing?
내일부터 하는 건 어때요? 오늘 늦게까지 일하고 이제 퇴근했잖아요. 힘들다고요.
Seeing Marius pout, you can only close the instruction booklet. Okay. If you're tired, let's go home and rest. Before you can finish voicing your suggestion, Marius wraps his arms around your waist and lies on the soft couch. His soft, fine hair brushes against your neck, causing a slightly ticklish sensation.
집은 여기서 조금만 쉬다 가요. 이대로 안겨서 10분만, 아니 5분만 잘래요. 응?
Mary's tone is soft, expressing a request anyone would find impossible to refuse. You nod slightly, gently running your fingers through his hair to help him relax. Upon earning this affirmation, Mary holds you even tighter.
역시 누나밖에 없어요.
Mary's voice grows quieter and quieter, and he finishes his sentence with a listless and drowsy tone. The city outside the floor-to-ceiling windows is quiet against the gentle backdrop of the night sky. Miss Law Firm office area. I finally finished my work for the morning. You set the documents in your hand aside, stretching your arms and neck before you suddenly recall what Mary said before you left this morning. Mary said he'd ordered some lavish takeout for my lunch today. I wonder what it will be. Just as you're thinking about what he might have ordered, the receptionist placed a massive takeout bag on your table. Miss Herrera, the takeout Mr. Van Hagen ordered for you is here. A smile emerges on your lips as you look at the bag of takeout commanding a huge amount of desk space. Looks like the lavishness of the takeout begins with its size. Thank you, you can just leave it here. Sure, I'm going to head back then. After the receptionist leaves, you open the beautifully packaged bag to find dozens of boxes of varying sizes inside. A card is attached to the topmost box. It reads, Dear Sharara, the lavish lunch I promised you has arrived. I'm not sure what you like to eat at noon, so I ordered from all the best restaurants nearby. It might be too much, but you can share with your coworkers. At this point, too much is an understatement. Tammy's law firm office area. I'm finally off work. You pack up your stuff with excitement. As you get ready to leave, the receptionist suddenly appears in front of your desk.
변호사님,
What's the matter? Is there an emergency?
아니요. 방금 이상한 사람이 찾아왔는데 이 앞에서 변호사님 퇴근하는 거 기다리겠다고 전해달라 하더라고요.
A weird guy waiting for me?
네, 핑크색 머리에 옷차림이 뭐랄까 많이 트렌디했어요. 마스크 때문에 눈밖에 안 보였는데 왠지 잘생겼을 것 같더라고요. 또 되게 멋있는 스포츠카를 몰고 왔는데 차에 스티커가 요란하게 붙어 있었어요.
As you listen to the receptionist, you rack your brain, but you can't think of anyone who matches her description. That is pretty weird. I don't know anyone like that. I'll take a look when I head downstairs.
네,
Street. Overcome with curiosity, you're out of the door of the law firm before you know it. As the receptionist said, a cool orange sports car covered in stickers is parked on the street. A pink-haired man wearing a gaudy coat is leaning against the car door, casually checking out the nearby buildings. I'm not sure why, but he seems familiar the longer I look at him. Seemingly noticing your gaze, the man looks over and waves enthusiastically. I just wanted to take a quick look and then leave. There's no escaping now. You can only walk over. Hi there. The man is taken aback for a moment, but in the next second he pulls off his wig, mask, coat, and other flashy accessories.
살짝 변장한 건데 몰라볼 정도예요?
Marius? Watching him shed his disguise, you suddenly understand why you find him familiar. Glancing at the sports car parked to the side, you realize he's here to pick you up from work. You're just here to pick me up from work? Why are you dressed like that?
평소처럼 차만 몰고 데리러 오면 재미없잖아요. 가끔은 이렇게 서프라이즈로 색다른 퇴근길을 경험해보는 거죠. 어때요? 오늘 내 특별한 코디가 눈에 확 들어왔어요?
Most definitely, I'll never forget the trendsetter I saw today.
칭찬 고마워요. 그럼 이제 집으로 가볼까요?
Yep. Marius' bedroom. Speeding along in the sports car, you soon arrive home. The sky has also darkened. After Marius changes out of his costume, you two work together to draw the interconnected lines according to the rules.
도면은 완성했고 이제 게임 시작해도 될 것 같아요.
I wonder what our first task will be. Marius' bedroom.
이번 미션은 함께 펄러비즈 완성하기? 펄러비즈가 뭐예요?
Marius looks at the instructions with a somewhat bewildered expression on his face. You look for the corresponding supplies and tools in the box and then hand them to Marius. Well, here's the stuff. Fuse beads are a DIY puzzle activity that requires several supplies such as plastic beads, tweezers, a template, parchment paper, and more. To create something out of fuse beads, use tweezers to arrange the beads into your desired pattern one by one, and then iron them. Marius looks over at a few speed tools and nods.
픽셀 느낌의 수공예품인 거네요. 재밌을 것 같아요. 펄러비즈는 처음이지만 손재주는 나름 자신 있거든요.
After learning what fuse bits are, Mary's interest is clearly piqued. So, do you know what kind of pattern you want to make?
그건 누나랑 같이 하는 거니까 당연히 우리랑 관련된 걸로 해야죠. 나랑 누나를 SD 캐릭터로 만드는 건 어때요? 봐요. 설명서가 추천하는 커플 도안이라고요.
Marius leans closer to you as he says this, pointing at the instructions to back him up. Seeing his excitement, you can't help but be persuaded. Alright, that sounds perfect for us. But before we arrange them into our faces, should we try a simpler pattern to practice first?
좋아요. 도구 사용법 먼저 익히는 것도 좋을 것 같아요. 그럼 연습용으로 어떤 도안이 좋을까요?
Marius turns slightly to look at you, implying he leaves the choice to you. At this moment, the light shining on his hair gives it a slightly purple sheen. Your imagination runs wild as you look at Marius. I got it. Let's make a purple cat.
보라색 고양이요?
You tug Marius' hand over before he can even react. And soon, a cute purple cat face takes shape thanks to your and Marius' cooperation. Lastly, you thread a chain through the top and the fuse bead keychain is ready.
하나도 안 어려운데요? 너무 쉬워요.
Marius wears a proud expression and you hold the cat keychain up to his face. Marius, look, doesn't it look like you?
어?
Ah, that's expression is spot on.
갑자기 웬 보라색 고양이인가 했더니 내가 이 고양이였던 거예요?
You wave your hand quickly. Never mind about that, we still have to make our faces. Marius starts moving as he hears this. He glances over at the tools on the table and then let out an ambiguous sigh.
좋아요. 그럼 이번 한 번만 봐줄게요.
Since you practiced just now, you and Marius are already familiar with the process. He draws a draft for the pattern, and you both work together to arrange the bits. Soon enough, the faces are ready, leaving only the ironing. The pattern is all done. It's so cute. As you look at the pattern you made together lying on the table, you can't help but lean on Marius.
귀엽긴 하네요. 근데 뭔가 부족한 것 같아요.
What's missing? Isn't it just like you drew? Marius smiles but doesn't respond. He reaches out and picks up the red beads with his tweezers. After a few minutes, a substantial heart reveals itself between your faces. The heart shape fits perfectly in the gap between your faces. You realize Marius deliberately designed it that way when he drew the pattern.
어때요? 이제야 완벽하죠?
Marius looks at you, smiling. Instead of answering, you lean close to his face and raise your chin slightly. You give him a gentle and sweet peck as your response. After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Marius decide to clean the room together. Marius looked somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late. Let's wash up and get ready for bed. Alright. Marius' bedroom. It starts to rain outside as you and Marius lay on the bed together. The sound of the rain is the nature's music. You hold hands and fall asleep to the comfortable melody of the rain.
누나, 잘 자요?
Marius' bedroom. Sunlight seeps into the house through the gauze curtains, warm and radiant. A new day has begun. Rami's law firm office area. I'm so tired. Why am I so busy today? After typing out the last word, you finally finish your work for the morning. Just as you're about to grab a bite to eat, you get a call from Marius. Hi. Why do you sound so exhausted? Haven't you taken your lunch? Yeah, I've been too busy until now. I have a lot to do today and I'm so tired. I'm drained. Upon hearing Mary's voice, you can't help but start complaining to him about work. You hear his tone grow softer, seemingly trying to soothe your troubled emotions. If you're too tired, take a break. Your health comes first. There's always no end to work. That's true, but I still have a deadline. Hi, never mind. I just wish there was a good way to recharge my mind. Recharge. Marius pauses and then smiles slightly. I have a good idea. What? You'll know later. Go eat something and get some rest during your lunch break. I'm worried about you. You can tell Marius is purposefully changing the topic to maintain a sense of surprise, so you go along with it. Alright, I'll eat first. You should have an early lunch too. As you wish, Miss Attorney. Even though you two merely exchange simple pleasantries, you feel much better after the call. Anticipation rises up in your heart as you wonder what Mary's idea could be. The Miss Law Firm office area. After sorting through the documents, you lean back in your chair and let out a long, tired sigh. I'm finally done sorting through everything just in time to get off work. Your mind goes blank for a moment. Mentally and physically exhausted, you finally start packing up your stuff and getting ready to leave. Just then you hear your phone vibrating. It's a call from Marius.
누나, 이제 퇴근이죠?
Yeah, I'm packing my things out right now. What's wrong?
그냥 전화하고 싶었어요.
Marius sounds like he's in a high spirits. Did something good happen?
지금 창가로 가봐요.
The window? Following his instructions, you walk over to the window and instinctively look down. However, you don't spot anything out of ordinary. There's nothing down there. I can't see you either.
아니, 하늘을 봐야죠.
As your gaze shifts upward, the exclamations from your nearby coworkers also catch your attention.
어? 저기 좀 봐요. 저게 뭐지?
우와,
A jet plane flies right in front of your building through the clear blue sky. It shows off by looping around several times in the air. The white smoke emitted from its tail painted a huge smiley face in the air.
스마일이에요.
엄청 크잖아.
As you recall your phone call with Marius at noon, your heart is filled with a sensation as sweet as honey.
하루 종일 정신 없다가 이렇게 보니까 기분이 다 좋아지네요.
그러게요. 운도 좋아서 완벽한 스마일을 봤잖아요.
You almost can't help laughing out loud as you listen to your coworkers talk to each other. Lowering your voice, you respond to Marius on the other end of the call. Thanks for making me smile, Marius.
이 정도로 멀려. 너무 눈에 띄면 누나 출근하는데 방해될까봐 누나 이름 쓰고 싶은 것도 겨우 참았다고요.
Marius happily accepts your thank you. Even though you can't see his face, you can imagine his proud expression at this very moment.
어때요? 웃는 얼굴 보니까 피곤이 좀 가세요?
Of course, I don't feel tired at all now.
다행이다. 점심 때보다 덜 피곤했으면 했는데 성공했네요. 그럼 난 계약할 게 있어서 이따 집에서 봐요.
Okay, see you at home. You look out the window again after you hang up. The white trail traces a perfect arc in your heart. Marius' bedroom. You head back home in high spirits. After dinner, both of you go into the bedroom and get ready to play the game.
오늘은 뭘로 할까요?
Let me see. Marius' bedroom. Look at the moon together. You and Marius spontaneously laugh as you look at the stars in the instruction booklet. Today's task is way too easy.
그러게요. 우릴 너무 얕보는 것 같은데요?
Marius immediately presses a button on the remote and the curtains automatically slide open.
겨우 달 구경이라니. 어?
When the gauze curtains slowly open, you and Marius are left astonished. The sky outside is dark and quiet. However, the starlight is dim and there's no trace of the moon whatsoever. What are the odds? Are we so unlucky to get a cloudy night tonight that we can't even see the moon?
그런가 봐요.
Man proposes, but God disposes. You originally thought this task would be a walk in the park, but you've run into a roadblock. Moreover, the task doesn't allow you to wait for another clear night. Let me think, is there still another way for us to complete it? Could we buy a light shaped like a moon, or maybe go to a planetarium? You're about to share your ideas with Marius when he smiles and waves the paper in his hand at you. Do you have an idea?
네, 나가지 않고도 미션을 끝낼 수 있어요.
Huh?
일단 눈 감고 소파에 앉아봐요. 금방이면 돼요.
Considering the confident look on Mary's face, you sit down on the couch obediently and close your eyes. In the darkness, the faint noises grow more obvious. It seems like Marius is walking around and moving something. Amidst the faint anticipation, his voice, carried on a warm breath, suddenly sounds in your ear.
됐어요, 누나. 이제 눈 떠도 돼요.
You see that the floor lamp has been shifted aside. A string hangs from the ceiling, suspending a pepper moon. Warm light shines through it, casting a perfect shadow on the white wall right above the top of your shadow. Marius sits down next to you in one swift movement, and the shadow on the wall suddenly has a partner.
어때요? 아이디어 괜찮죠? 초승달이든 보름달이든 보고 싶은 건 다 볼 수 있으니까 마음껏 골라요.
Yeah, it's great. We can easily and creatively accomplish the task this way. In fact, it's uniquely romantic. But before you can say the second half of your sentence, the warm sensation in your heart makes you want to tease him. But if it's up to me, I'd like to see a moon with some craters.
크레이터요?
Yeah, like those moon-shaped lamps where you can see the terrain on it. Are you not able to do it?
아, 그런 거요? 그 정도야 쉽죠.
Marius quickly picks up a piece of paper and a carving knife, ready to work on it. You swiftly stop him with a smile. He realizes you're just messing with him when he sees you can no longer hold your laughter. Yet on this moonless night, your laughter reaches the moon. After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Marius decide to clean the room together. Marius looks somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late. Let's wash up and get ready for bed. Alright. Marius' bedroom. After washing up, you and Marius lie on the bed and talk about everything under the sun. The conversation topic readily transformed from interesting things that happened recently to delicacies in the southernmost city in the country. When drowsiness gradually overcomes you, you both slowly closes your eyes and fall asleep.
굿나잇. 꿈속에서 봐요.
Marius' bedroom. Half asleep, you feel a gentle caress on your cheek. Hmm. You open your eyes to see Marius propping himself up next to your pillow and looking at you with a smile. Fancy restaurant. Marius said he wanted to have lunch together before you left this morning, so you head to a fancy restaurant with him during your lunch break. Isn't this a bit too fancy for a simple lunch? Its fanciness isn't important, the scenery is the main focus here. You've been working hard all morning, so you should reward yourself with good food and a nice view. Marius points at the bustling scene outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, shooting you a wink. The caring nature of his words warms you. Well, the scenery is beautiful indeed. Then, do you have any for recommendations? I'm okay with anything, it's up to you. If you like it, I like it. Does that mean you're leaving the order to me? Yep. Marius nods and calls the waiter over. After you enjoy your lunch, you and Marius sit at a coffee table next to the floor-to-ceiling windows and relax for a bit. Only when it's time to return to work for the afternoon that you reluctantly get ready to leave. It would be great if we could have such a nice lunch break every day. Then why don't I add a special moment with Sharara to my schedule daily? Even though Marius sees it like a joke, the emotion in his case is sincere. It's like he would do it immediately if you agreed. That's okay, you're so busy, it would be hard for you to take time off out of your schedule every day to see me. Even though you want to see Marius every day at noon, your rationality wins out. He smiles in resignation, wrapping an arm around your shoulder. Hi, I was hoping you could see you so I could unapologetically negotiate with those old dudes. Work is important, and we see each other daily. It's okay if we can't see each other at noon. You say that, but my heart is telling me I want to see you every moment I can, even if it's just one more minute. There is a gentle emotion in Mary's eyes. After pausing for a few seconds, he seemingly thinks of something. How about this? As long as nothing important gets delayed, I'll set aside one lunch break a week to spend time with you. That's my bottom line, Sharara. You have to promise me. Faced with that expression of his, how could you not feel touched? You smile and nod and then throw your arms around his neck. Yeah, you feel the same. You want to see him each and every moment. The Von Hagen Estate living room. After getting off work early today, you head back to the Von Hagen estate. However, Marius doesn't greet you in the living room like usual. You walk upstairs to the bedroom and look around but can't find him anywhere. Weird, Marius said he is working from home today. Just then, Mr. Wei brings in a plate of freshly cut fruit.
천천히 드세요.
You, Mr. Wei. By the way, do you know where Marius went?
아, 작은 도련님이 말씀 안 드렸나요?
No. Did he go out for a bit to handle something important?
아니요, 그게...
Mr. Wei looks around, his words caught in his throat. Before you can ask any more questions, a burning smell drifts in from the kitchen alongside the sound of a familiar voice.
이건 뭐...
In the next second, Marius walks out of the kitchen covering his mouth and nose.
아저씨... 누나 왔어요?
Marius looks surprised to see you in the living room. Yeah, I got off work early today. What are you up to? Faced with your question, Marius is momentarily silent. He then sighs as if he's already given up on himself.
누나한테 요리해주려고 그랬죠. 근데 아무리 해도 잘 안 될 줄 누가 알았겠어요. 태워 먹기만 벌써 7번째예요.
The seventh time? You can barely restrain a smile as you look at Marius' slightly embarrassed expression. It's the thought that counts. Thank you, Marius. But we should leave soft light cooking to the professionals.
알았어요.
저도 그렇게 말씀드렸지만 둘째 도련님께서...
아저씨...
전 이만 주방으로 가보겠습니다.
After Mr. Wei leaves, you comfort Marius for a bit. He eventually finally agrees to find another time to cook for you to prove himself. He decides to leave tonight's dinner up to the private chef. Marius' bedroom. After an enjoyable dinner together, the sky grows dark. You and Marius return to the bedroom. You two rest briefly before Marius takes out the drawing and prepares to continue the game.
다른 미션은 다 괜찮은데 제발 같이 요리하기 같은 미션은 안 걸렸으면 좋겠어요.
Then let's see how lucky we get today. Marius' bedroom. This house looks pretty interesting.
뭔데요?
Look, it says one person has to tell a story and the other has to act it out. Marius takes the instructions and carefully reads the task outline. He then moves closer to your face, taking your hand and drawing circles on your palm.
누나, 그거에 대해서 이야기하고 싶은 게 있어요.
Huh?
이번 미션 내가 연기하고 누나가 이야기하는 건 어때요?
Marius looks eager to give it a go, his gaze filled with excitement. Marius is going to act it out. Okay, I'll tell the story and you act it out. After a discussion, you and Marius decide to use Little Red Riding Hood as your story. After you find a good script for the performance online, Marius stands in front of the couch waiting for you to direct him. Okay, I'm going to start.
물론이죠. 나도 준비됐어요.
Marius winks at you and makes an okay gesture with his hand. Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived a little girl who wore a red cloak. People called her Little Red Riding Hood.
빨간 모자.
Marius makes a house with his hands to represent a town. He then pauses for a few seconds before grabbing a thin blanket from a nearby clothes rack. He crouches down, wraps the blanket over his shoulders like a cloak, and makes a blooming flower with his hands like a child. Upon seeing Marius' exaggerated performance, you hold in your laughter and focus on the script. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mom asked her to visit her grandmother in the forest. But the forest was very dangerous. A big bad wolf lived there. After Marius faithfully recreates the little girl and the grandma, he removes the blanket and crooks his fingers into claws. He leaps forward, swinging his head back and forth.
늑대는 할 줄 알아요. 이렇게 연기하는 거 맞죠? 아우!
I can't stand it anymore. It's so funny. Marius stays frozen in place, maintaining the same pose.
이야기하는 사람이 웃으면 어떡해요. 얼른 계속해요.
Fine, give me a second. Phew, okay. After taking a few deep breaths, you shift your focus back to the script. The big bad wolf noticed Little Red Riding Hood was walking through the forest. He followed her secretly, looking for a chance to eat her. He walked and walked, but he accidentally tripped and fell. Don't look at me, that's what the script says. The big bad wolf fell. Marius remained silent after hearing your response. He then pretends to stumble forward, accidentally falling to the carpet.
아파.
I've never seen such a big bad wolf before. As you look at Marius on the ground, you get the sudden urge to tease him. The big bad wolf stood up and brushed all the dirt off himself. Then he kept following Little Red Riding Hood. But who knows, he fell again shortly after.
거기에 나오는 늑대 바보 아니에요?
Even though Marius is muttering under his breath, his movements are as honest as can be. He stands up, dusts himself off, then acts like he fell again.
아야, 너무 아픈데.
Okay, this time the big bad wolf checked his legs. After making sure nothing was wrong with them, he stood up and continued following Little Red Riding Hood. He walked, but fell again.
어?
Marius seemingly realizes what's happening and is left stunned for a moment. Even so, he decides to continue with the performance. After checking his legs, he stands up, stumbles forward again, and then accidentally falls. You abruptly lean back. Marius' handsome face is right before you, and his hands rest on either side of you. This time, he chooses to fall on you.
아, 너무 아픈데. 누나가 뽀뽀해줘야 나을 것 같아요.
He recognizes that you are messing with him and takes this opportunity to beat you at your own game. The big bad wolf can act like that. It isn't in the script.
그렇긴 한데 나도 누나처럼 각색해봤어요.
My response is so justified that you are momentarily unable to respond. In that case, I'll become the righteous pedestrian who punishes the big bad wolf. While Marius is still distracted, you launch a surprise attack at his waist. However, he immediately reacts, holding you off. You both break out into a fit of laughter. It seems as if the moon itself won't be able to sleep tonight due to all the noise. The fairy tale recounted in the script comes to a different ending tonight. After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Marius decide to clean the room together. Marius looks somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late. Let's wash up and get ready for bed. Alright. Marius' bedroom. As soon as you walk into the room after washing up, someone's arm wraps around you from behind. Marius rubs your shoulders and you can hear a smile as he speaks. Shara, did you use the new body wash I bought? Yeah, I like how it smells. Me too. Before he even finishes speaking, Marius has already carried you over to the bed. You're sure to have a sweet dreams tonight.
잠이 안 와요? 알겠다. 뽀뽀해줬으니까 얼른 자요.
Marius' bedroom. The sound of the door opening gently awakens you. When you open your eyes, you see Marius pushing what appears to be a room service cart through the doorway. Upon seeing that you've woken up, he quickly pushes over the cart with a smile and shows you the breakfast he prepared. The scent of the food reaches your nose, while the sweetness and warmth also drift into your heart. Davis Law Firm office area. As your lunch break approaches, your coworker sitting next to you sends you an advertisement for a cake shop. Miss Herrera, this cake shop launched a new product today. Want to order together? Their cakes are seriously delicious. Once you try it, you'll never be able to forget it. Looking at the cakes marked summertime exclusive on the screen, the first thing that pops into your head is the urge to buy some for Marius to try. After making your decision, you smile at your coworker. I don't think I want any right now. Thanks for the recommendation though. It's fine, I'll ask someone else. After you decline, your coworker leaves to find someone else to order with. You then order some takeout from the shop, ready to surprise Marius. He ordered me a lavish lunch last time, so I'll make sure he gets a cozy afternoon tea cake this time. Exclusive summertime cake, I'm sure he'll like it. A smile emerges on your lips as you enter the delivery address. It feels really nice to surprise each other once in a while. Time is law firm office area. After typing your final word, you glance over at the wall clock. Great, I can get off early again today. How about I find Marius right now? You look down at your phone and check the latest message sent by Marius. He'll be in the studio all afternoon. After calculating the time in your mind, you quickly pack up your stuff and head to the studio to see Marius. Marius' studio. You gingerly open the door as you arrive at the studio. Marius is sitting in front of an easel with his back facing you, diligently waving his paintbrush. The warm sunshine streaming through the window gives him a faint glow. I'd better not bother him. You're about to quietly tiptoe over to the lounge area when a familiar voice stops you right in your track.
누나, 여기 온 거 보니까 일찍 퇴근했나 봐요?
Weren't you focused on your painting? How did you notice me come in?
에이, 우리가 통하는 게 있잖아요. 그래서 누나가 들어오는 순간 느꼈죠.
You know what's on my mind? Then can you guess what I'm thinking right now?
그야 당연히 내 옆에 앉아서 이 그림을 완성하는 걸 지켜보고 싶다 생각하고 있겠죠. 마무리 단계라 금방이면 돼요.
What was originally a teasing segment morphed into a warm invitation from Marius. Faced with your lover's anticipation, you accept his invitation and sit down beside him. The painting in front of you portrays a tranquil world with a vast mountainous landscape, floating clouds, and a ship wandering carefree. What are you painting?
상상 속에서 누나랑 함께하는 또 다른 삶이에요.
It looks so relaxing.
그쵸? 이건 그냥 일부고 나중에 시간 되면 모든 가능성을 그림으로 그려내고 싶어요. 자, 여기 상기슭에 오두막만 그리면 완성이에요.
As Marius says this, he picks up a paintbrush and adds some paint to the bottom left corner of the piece. Basking in the warm sunlight, you and Marius transform into colorful dots on the canvas. Marius' bedroom. It's already night by the time you return home from the studio. After a simple wash-up, you and Marius sit on the couch ready to continue the game.
준비됐어요?
Of course, let's start. Marius' bedroom. For today's task, we'll choose a favorite song from the other person's playlist.
상대방의 플레이리스트요? 그럼 휴대폰부터 교환할까요?
Here. After trading phones, you open the streaming app Marius usually uses and browse the playlist he's been listening to recently. The playlist is full of beautiful love songs, fast and energetic tracks, and odes to help him focus. Just looking at it leaves you perplexed. They all look pretty good. Which one should I choose? As you slowly swipe down, a familiar song comes into view. Ode to a Pure Heart. Marius likes this song too. I've been listening to this song at work recently to help myself gain peace of mind. Just then, you turn your head slightly to look at Marius as he sits next to you. He is also focused on choosing a song. When you see his serious, concentrated expression, you suddenly feel like ode to a pure heart might not be the right choice. Forget it, choosing this song at a time like this might be inappropriate, and I'm not oblivious. I should choose another one. They all look pretty good. Which one should I choose? You continue to swipe downward, unconsciously stopping on a love song. Everlasting Love? Is that Canon Club's new song? Tapping on the lyrics, the romantic words bring back memories of the first time you met Marius. Your first meeting, your first conversation, your first trip together. Back then, you never could have predicted today. You can't help picking at Marius sitting next to you. He's completely oblivious to your gaze, his expression extremely focused. I'll choose this one. A few seconds after you choose the song, Marius also decides on his song.
누나, 난 다 골랐어요. 누나는요?
I'm ready.
그럼 누나가 먼저 말해봐요. 내 플레이리스트에서 뭘 골랐어요?
Fine, fine. The song I choose is Everlasting Love by Canon Clock. It's truly romantic, and the lyrics are perfect for tonight. You snuggle into Mary's arms while you talk, and he instinctively hugs you tight. Your gaze meets his, and you discover a deep smile in his eyes.
누나가 이걸 고를 줄은 몰랐네요.
Huh? What's wrong with it?
그건 아니고 난 누나 휴대폰에서 고승환의 영혼을 골랐거든요. 그거 알아요? 둘 다 솔로곡이긴 한데 두 파트를 합친 게 고승환의 새 앨범 타이틀곡이에요.
At first, you heard Endless because the app's algorithm recommended it to you. You had no idea it was part of a bigger picture. But you and Marius chose two halves of the whole as if it were destined. The two songs combined to create everlasting, endless love.
아예 몰랐나 봐요. 그럼 이렇게 된 거 같이 들어볼래요?
Before you know it, Marius plays the song on the playlist, and the introduction to a love song softly envelops you. He lowers his head and leans in, bringing the heat of his body closer. As you look into his eyes, you begin to understand the meaning behind the lyrics. What does it mean for an endless love to be like an eternal flame? After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Marius decide to clean the room together. Marius looks somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late, let's wash up and get ready for bed. Alright. Marius' bedroom. As you sit on the edge of the bed reading a book, you suddenly feel pressure on your shoulders. You look over to spot Marius' hand on your shoulders giving you a massage. Why give me a massage all of a sudden? Isn't it obvious? You've been tired recently, so I want to help you feel better. Am I pressing too hard? Should I ease up? No, it's perfect. You believe you'll sleep better tonight after the relaxation service.
편히 자요. 계속 옆에 있을게요.
Marius' bedroom. Huh? Something's pressing down on me. The pressure on your waist only increases before you feel warm breath on your neck. You lower your head slightly and open your eyes to take a peek. Marius has thrown his arm over your waist and he looks completely defenseless as he sleeps. So it was Marius. Let's sleep together for a bit then. Rami's law firm office area. After finishing your work on time, you take a deep breath and stretch. It wasn't easy, but I finished all my work. I wonder what Marius is doing now. During this short downtime, your thoughts inevitably drift to Marius, as if you two can read each other's mind. He calls in the next second. Afternoon, Sharara, were you thinking about me? How did you know? Because I put a sensor in your heart and the alarm went off just now. It said your heart kept shouting, Marius, Marius, so I called to soothe your pain. You have a quite the imagination, but I'm guessing I'm not the only one feeling lovesick. You're right, my condition is serious and there's no cure. As you and Marius joke back and forth, you are both finally unable to rein in your laughter. After messing around for a bit, Marius clears his throat on the other end of the call, seemingly having something important to say. Alright, be serious. I have something important to ask you. What is it? Well, could you buy me some milk tea and pick me up after work? I want to see what it feels like to have someone pick me up sometimes too. Marius' tone softens and he speaks in a childish voice. Even though you can't see his face, you can imagine his expression. How could you possibly refuse a request like that? Sure, I don't have much to do in the afternoon, so I can get off on time. I'll order your favorite flavor of milk tea. Great, I'll be waiting for you then. Be there or be square. Okay, I'll be there. You and Marius continue to chat until he is called to a meeting and reluctantly hangs up. This small agreement suddenly fills your day with anticipation. Next President's office. As agreed, you bought milk tea at noon and are heading to Marius' office to pick him up after he gets off work. As soon as you walk in, you see Vincent standing by a table by some documents, seemingly reporting a project to Marius.
왔어요?
안녕하세요, 변호사님.
Yeah, are you still busy? How about I sit down somewhere and wait for a bit?
괜찮아요. 딱 맞춰 왔어요.
Without another word, Marius grabs the cup of milk tea you bought for him and takes a big gulp.
맛있다. 역시 퇴근할 때 데리러 오는 사람이 있으니까 뭔가 달라요. 먼저 가볼 테니까 남은 것 좀 부탁해요, 시온 씨.
네, 작은 도련님.
Perhaps you're just imagining it, but it seems like Vincent's smile is somewhat reluctant. As Marius pulls you through the door to leave, you can't help but look back at Vincent with a sympathetic expression. Central Business District. In the blink of an eye, Marius has already led you out to the street instead of taking the elevator down to the parking garage like you usually do. Huh? We're not driving home?
네, 오늘은 같이 버스 타고 가고 싶어요.
Marius responds and takes another drink of his milk tea, seemingly very relaxed. What made you want to take the bus all of a sudden?
다른 사람들처럼 여자친구랑 같이 여유롭게 집 가는 기분을 느껴보고 싶더라고요. 노선을 미리 찾아봤는데 지하철은 시간이 너무 짧아서 버스가 좋겠어요.
Marius takes your hand and strolls along the street, his voice natural and sincere. The sunlight shines down on you, warm and dazzling. Okay, I get it. Then let's take our time getting home today.
좋아요?
You wrap your arm around Mary's arm as your shadow elongates with the lights. Then suddenly you think of something and turn to look at him. Hey, aren't you afraid you'll get recognized if you get on the bus dressed like that? The president of PAX taking a bus will probably be a juicy piece of gossip.
그건 다 준비해뒀죠.
Marius suddenly whips out a baseball cap, a pair of sunglasses, and a mask. Both of you break out into a fit of laughter simultaneously. The trip home tonight is sure to be special. Marius' bedroom. You two slowly make your way home under the dark sky. After Marius changes out of his suit, he throws his arms around you and sits beside you on the bed.
오늘 피곤하진 않아요? 조금 쉬었다가 게임할래요?
When you hear Marius mention the game, you immediately perk up. Nope, I can start now. What about you?
나도 괜찮아요. 그럼 시작할까요?
Marius' bedroom.
엄청 쉬운 미션이에요.
Marius points to the instructions where watch a TV show together is printed on the page. Yeah, you're right. So what should we watch?
어디 보자.
Marius takes out his phone and randomly taps the screen a few times. He then hands it to you.
자, 지금 전 세계 모든 채널에서 방송되고 있는 프로그램이에요. 골라봐요.
Now that you're looking at the dense text on the screen, you suddenly don't know what to do.
어떤 장르가 좋아요? 다큐멘터리? 아니면 오디션 예능?
After looking through the list of shows for a few minutes, you finally give up. I can't choose. They all look pretty good. Looks like you have an idea of what to watch. Why don't you choose?
내가요? 그래도 되고요.
You hand the phone back to Marius. He looks down at the list only for a few seconds before making up his mind.
이건 어때요? 화인이 새로 투자한 연애 예능인데 요즘 인기라고 들었어요.
He taps on a show called Sweet Secret. Watching a dating show with your partner, you momentarily feel a warm and fuzzy feeling in your heart, much like the lovers on the show might. Sure, that sounds good to me. You and Marius are completely absorbed in the show, and the 2-hour episode comes to an end in the blink of an eye. The interaction between the male and female contestants also draws to a close with a nuanced, lovely dinner date. How romantic!
아쉬워요? 평이 좀 괜찮았나 봐요.
That's because it is really good. As you recall the episode you just watched, you don't hold back your praise for the show. Clearly intrigued, Marius looks at you and plays with the hem of your shirt.
어디가 제일 재밌었어요? 좀 더 자세히 말해봐요.
Why are you so curious to hear my review?
누나가 말하는 평가를 기준으로 프로젝트 투자 담당자한테 피드백하려고요. 그러니까 당연히 진지하게 들어야죠.
He winks at you, his tone teasing yet sincere. With that, you settle down and start to think about it in depth. It's just like it says in the tagline at the beginning. It's all about creating long lasting relationships by being authentic and refreshing. Even though the pace moves pretty slowly, it gives me a cozy feeling. Then there are also the interactions between all the contestants. They're just normal people, but before you can finish your sentence, Marius has already buried his hand in your neck.
푹신한 쿠션이 필요해서요. 듣고 있으니까 계속 말해요.
You can hear a vague smile in Mary's voice as if he came out victorious. When you are with him, you always feel somewhat helpless. You continue talking about the show. Mary nods intermittently and offers a few comments in response to your ideas. The night grows darker and the lights grow dim. After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Maris decide to clean the room together. Maris looks somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late. Let's wash out and get ready for bed. Alright. Mary's bedroom. After you wash up and return to your room, you hear a piece of soft, calming music playing in the room. Marius calls you to meditate with him before bed to help you relax your mind and body. On this serene night, your mind and body are at peace. Tonight, you will have a good sleep.
같이 손잡고 자면 행복한 꿈을 꿀 거예요.
Marius' bedroom. The gentle music of your alarm sounds as the curtains slowly slide open automatically. Another sweet night unwittingly makes way for a new day. From his law firm office area, you are just about to take a nap at your desk when a man in a work uniform appears in front of you with a box. Hello, are you Miss Sharira? Yes. Mr. Van Hagen had us send this over. If you could please sign for it. When you hear the man mention Mr. Von Hagen, you know he's referring to Marius. You sign for the box and take it, and the man rushes off. Just as you are about to open the well-packaged box to see what's inside, your phone vibrates. Shara, did you get my present? I can see on my phone that you already signed for it. Yep, I got it. I was just about to open it. What did you get for me? So, you didn't open it yet. If I'd known, I would have called a few minutes later. It's a heated eye mask. The latest model just arrived. I thought it would be nice for you for your lunch breaks if you wanted to nap, so I had someone deliver it right away. As Mary speaks, you open up the cardboard box to find a simple yet refined device sitting inside. Upon looking at it, you can't help but feel a warm feeling swell up in your heart. Why are you quiet all of a sudden? My present didn't scare you, right? Marius' words break through the cozy vibe in an instant. You can't stop yourself from laughing out loud, but that sweet feeling remains in your heart. Why would it scare me? I was about to take a nap. This eye mask came in the right time. Oh, I see. That you'll have to try it out and give me your feedback. Got it, leave it to me. Okay, I'm going to get back to work. Enjoy your nap. After hanging up, Mary's words continue to echo in your mind, and your heart overflows with warmth and sweetness. You will certainly have sweet dreams in your nap. Tammy's law firm front desk. You told Marius you'd be able to get off work on time today and asked him to come pick you up. However, an unexpected work meeting kept you 50 minutes after the agreed upon time. When you finally exit the office and walk to the front desk, you see Marius still waiting for you. Sorry, I didn't know that a last-minute meeting would keep me so late. Sorry to keep you waiting.
괜찮아요. 급한 미팅이야 어쩔 수 없죠. 나도 자주 겪는 일인데요, 뭐. 피곤하거나 배고프진 않아요? 우리 밥부터 먹으러 갈래요? 근처에 새로 오픈한 레스토랑이 있는데 꽤 괜찮아요.
Marius doesn't mind waiting for you at all. Instead, he only shows concern for you. You feel even more guilty upon hearing this.
왜 말이 없어요? 배고파서 그래요?
No, I just... The guilt within you causes you to blurt out what you're thinking. It was my fault you had to wait so long for me. So, I want to make you a promise in return. Marius is taken aback for a moment before a smile reveals itself on his lips.
누나가 말한 거니까 모르게 없어요.
Of course.
사실 누나 기다릴 때부터 생각해뒀어요. 일본 지각할 때마다 뽀뽀 한 번. 어때요?
With that, Marius winks at you, his eyes alight with unmistakable cunning and guilt. For a second, you even wondered if he was behind that impromptu meeting. Wait a second, you said you had already thought about it while waiting?
네, 누나를 잘 알아서 이 정도 기다렸으면 누나가 소원을 들어주겠구나 싶었죠.
His words leave you speechless for a moment, but you really can't argue. Seeing this, Marius naturally and calmly takes your hand in his.
일단 밥부터 먹어요. 누나 배고프겠다.
Yeah. Marius' bedroom. After you get back home from dinner, Marius conscientiously begins to lean in closer to you.
누나, 약속했던 소원 이제 들어줄 차례예요.
Marius' face moves closer and closer. It is now so close that you can clearly see your own reflection in his eyes. After you make it up to him, Marius sits down next to you with a smile. The paper drawn with interconnected lines sits on the low table next to him, waiting for the two of you to start playing. Looks like it's time to play.
그래야죠. 바로 시작해요.
Talk about the next place you want to travel with your partner. After reading the task in the instructions, you involuntarily look over at Marius. His gaze shifts to you as well, and he wears a determined expression. Did you already have your answer?
네, 누나가 여행이라고 말한 순간 정했어요.
So, where is it?
일단은 비밀이에요. 누나가 가고 싶은 곳부터 얘기해봐요.
What kind of place could be that special? You're building up the suspense.
누나가 얘기하면 나도 공개할게요.
Okay, let me think. Travel, destinations, fragments of trips you and Marius have taken in the past unconsciously came to the forefront of your mind. After thinking about it for a while, you still don't have an answer. I can't think of anywhere in particular. I'm happy wherever we go. Why don't you give me a starting point?
그럼 기상천외한 건 어때요? 양 방목이라든가 말타기, 밥 가꾸기 같은 거요. 아니면 원주민 생활 체험도 괜찮을 것 같아요.
That does sound unrestrained. Even though Mary's descriptions are a bit dramatic, they're pretty helpful. His suggestions include aspects of both nature and humanity. In that second, you make your decision. I've decided I want to take in the natural scenery with you. You just mentioned herding sheep and farming, didn't you? Perhaps we could go somewhere with beautiful scenery and enjoy a relaxing countryside life. Marius gently lowers his head and considers your answer for a few seconds before smiling at you.
그럼 신스타로 떠나는 게 좋겠어요?
New North Star?
네, 다른 대륙이랑 멀리 떨어져 있기도 하고 풍경이 남다르거든요. 누나가 말한 전원 생활은 더 말할 것도 없어요.
I see. It sounds great. I'll make a note. You then playfully punch Mary's arm with a smile. Okay, I'm done. Tell me where you want to go together.
그럼 내 대답을 공개할게요.
Marius pauses and then looks out the window.
바깥을 봐봐요.
Outside, even though you don't quite understand Mary's intentions, you still follow his gaze and look out the window. And outside, you see a boundless sky.
뭐가 보여요?
What else could I see this late? I can only see the sky.
맞아요.
Huh? Without waiting for your follow-up questions, Maris pulls you over to stand in front of the window. Together, you look up into the deep night sky. The darkness gently blankets you and Marius, hazy and soft.
누나랑 같이 가고 싶은 다음 역은 하늘이에요. 하늘보단 우주라는 표현이 더 적절하겠네요.
The universe?
네, 누나랑 같이 우주를 누비면서 행성을 여행하고 그곳을 표류하고 싶어요. 아직은 기술이 부족하지만 상상만 해도 로맨틱하지 않아요?
Marius looks at you, his shadow almost silvery in the moonlight. At this moment, you finally understand what he meant by going somewhere completely unrestrained. Even though there is a hint of a smile in his tone, he looks incredibly sincere, as if he'll stop at nothing to make it a reality. Through his eyes, you can see Marius and yourself sailing through the clouds and stars, wandering across an unknown planet. Yeah, it does sound romantic. I'm already looking forward to the day we can explore the universe together. Mary smiles and gathers your hair. Under the cover of night, he moves closer to you. The universe sparkles as stars engulf you. You believe you will be able to fulfill this wish someday. After following the instructions and finishing the game, you and Marius decide to clean the room together. Marius looks somewhat proud upon seeing the clean room. Looks like I'm pretty good at tidying up. Yep, you're the best. But it's getting late. Let's wash up and get ready for bed. Alright? Marius' bedroom. You lay on the bed for a while, but you don't have the feeling of sleepiness. Am I going to be up all night? Marius seemingly notices your predicament. Lying next to you, he pulls you into his arms. Can't sleep? Come here. Breathe evenly with me. Try your best to clear your mind. If you must think about something, think about me. As he says this, he gently pats your arms, guiding you to inhale and exhale slowly. Before you know it, the both of you fall into a deep slumber together.
자기 전에 안아달라고요? 당연히 해줘야죠. Good night.
Marius' bedroom. You feel a subtle touch on your lips, both familiar and gentle. When you open your eyes, you see Marius lowering his head and repeating his movements. A brand new day begins with a kiss. Park. Just after your lunch break begins, you get a call from Marius. He's waiting at the entrance of the law firm. After meeting up with him, he takes you on a walk to a nearby park. Why didn't you tell me you were coming to the firm to see me today? I actually snuck out for a bit. Huh? Having meetings with those old Jews is so boring. I sleep out halfway. Don't worry though, I'm not holding anything up. I simply want to walk with you for a bit before heading back. I bet they're still discussing the same details they were when I left. Marius quickly explains himself, seemingly afraid you might get worried like before. Upon hearing Mary's description, the image of a 3-hour deadlock meeting pops into your head. With that, you nod. Okay, I get it. Just keep track of the time. We don't get the chance to walk together that often. Should we go to the lake? Sure. Marius responds by holding your hand firmly, intertwining your fingers. The azure sky, white clouds, and the soft breeze. They help you to temporarily forget everything and enjoy the moment together. Marius' bedroom. Time slips away like a breeze. Before you know it, only one lost symbol is left on the diagram. For some reason, I don't want to continue playing.
마지막 날이라 끝내기 아쉬워서 그런가 봐요.
Hi, yeah, that's it. You can't help but sigh, shifting your gaze to the drawing paper. Regardless of what it might be, it's always hard to let go when something ends. But if you stop right here, you could enjoy this moment for eternity. Those thoughts fill your head when Marius suddenly wraps his arms around you and pulls you into his embrace.
괜한 생각 마요. 이거 끝나면 다른 게임도 있잖아요. 누나가 원한다면 매일매일 같이 놀아줄게요. 그리고 오늘의 미션을 끝내면 우린 진정한 연인으로 인정받는 거라고요.
That's true. Marius' words act as a warm raindrops, washing away the reluctance in your heart and replacing it with excitement and joy. Indeed, time never stops, constantly moving forward. And happiness will always be on the horizon. I wonder what the last game is going to make us do. Do you think it's going to be crazier than the others?
글쎄요. 더 이상할지도 모르죠.
I can't wait. Let's open up the instruction booklet and take a look.
좋아요.
Marius' bedroom. Take photo stickers together. When you read these tasks, you immediately pick up your phone and search for photo booths nearby that you and Marius can use to take pictures. But after looking for a few minutes, you don't find any. I guess it's to be expected. No photo booths available in the Villa district. We'll have to look for one downtown.
그냥 스티커 사진 찍는 건데 번거롭게 안 그래도 돼요.
Huh?
집에 한 대 사두면 나중에 찍고 싶을 때 얼마든지 찍을 수 있잖아요.
Marius' logic is probably something only rich people can understand. Marius jumps into action, immediately calling Victor to arrange the purchase. He then tells Mr. Wei to be ready to assist the employees in installing the booth. The Copenhagen Estate living room. About an hour and a half later, a brand new photo booth is assembled in the corner of the living room.
작은 도련님, 다 준비됐습니다.
아, 네. 이만 가서 일 보세요.
네, 작은 도련님.
Mr. Wei nods and leads the employees out of the living room. Marius leans against the machine and shoots you a wink.
어때요? 괜찮죠?
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen a photo booth in a house.
그럼 얼른 찍자고요. 들어와요, 누나.
Marius opens the curtain to the photo booth, bending forward slightly and ushering you in. Okay. The space inside the photo booth is so tight that Marius can't stretch his legs out. As a result, he scoots even closer to you, looking quite satisfied. Let me see how to work this thing.
여기를 누르면 되나 봐요.
The machine works live. You tap the screen according to the prompts and quickly begin shooting. Get ready! Get ready! It's about to start!
어? 아직 포즈도 생각 못했는데?
There's no time! You only have 5 seconds!
네? 아니,
Before Marius can finish, the photo is captured. Since you and Marius fail to find the right position, the picture only captures your blurry bodies. Your faces aren't even in the frame. Why does our first picture look like this? This isn't much of a photo sticker.
다시. 이제 어떻게 찍는지 알겠어요. 이번엔 쪼그리고 앉아서 찍어요.
Okay, I want to use this starry-eye sticker too. Marius leads you to crouch down, his face moving closer to yours. As the sound of the shutter goes off in the background, your and Marius' laughter fills the small space. After you and Marius finish taking pictures, you both sit down on the couch to rest. You hold the developed photos, looking over them again and again. The corners of your lips begin to tilt upward without your notice.
이렇게 많이 찍었는데 이 중에 어떤 게 제일 마음에 들어요?
Marius wraps his arm around your collarbone from behind, leaning forward to look through the photo stickers with you. Why don't you guess?
이거?
He points at the picture with the starry-eye stickers and you shake your head. Nope, try again.
그럼 이거?
Marius points to one of you and him making funny expressions, and you shake your head again. Not that one either.
그럼 뭐지?
All of them, of course. Marius laughed upon hearing your answer. These small yet lively pictures recorded every moment of laughter you share. Marius' bedroom. Soft music plays in the room as you and Marius lean on one another, somewhat reluctant to stop. Even though you two have completed all the games, you still feel like playing more. We finished the game so fast.
그러니까요. 미션이 많아 보였는데 막상 해보니까 금방 끝나네요. 이거 만든 사람한테 게임 수를 더 늘려달라고 피드백이라도 낼까 봐요.
Did you not have fun?
그럼요. 이런 게임은 좀 신기한 것 같아요. 지금까지 별로 해본 적이 없거든요. 그리고 또 누나랑 하는 거니까 더 하고 싶어요.
Yeah, there were some thoughts I've never tried before either. Wait a minute, what things new to Marius?
전에 누나랑 같이 해보고 싶어서 시온 씨한테 신기하고 재밌는 것 좀 찾아달라고 부탁했거든요. 그랬더니 새로 나온 건데 커플끼리 하기 좋은 놀이라면서 오늘 아침에 박스 하나를 주더라고요. 근데 너무 바빠서 아직 뜯어보지도 못했어요.
You've been so focused on finding a present that you were bound to overlook a detail like this. Now that you think back, it seems like Marius cares about new experience. Before you can brainstorm it further, you feel Marius' arms tighten around your waist.
나랑 이야기하다가 딴 생각을 하다니. 무슨 재밌는 생각이라도 있나 봐요?
Even though Marius speaks in a light tone, his words only reveal one thing: he wants attention. Since the person you love deeply is right before you, you might as well ask him directly rather than making a wild guess. Nothing's on my mind, I just want to know. Why did you go out of your way to ask Vincent to find something new and fun for us to do recently? I don't think you just wanted to try it with me, right? Marius is taken aback for a moment. He then lowers his head and rests his forehead against yours. The emotion in his gaze swirls into an ocean so dense that you can't see the bottom, yet at the same time, it is filled with infinite warmth.
간단해요. 그냥 앞으로 오래오래 함께 할 텐데 그중 대부분이 평범하고 반복되는 날이겠구나 하는 생각이 들었어요. 그래서 가능하면 매일같이 조금씩 변화를 주거나 특별한 경험을 찾아서 같이 해보고 싶었어요. 그럼 우리가 함께한 평범한 일상들을 되돌아볼 때 색다른 재미가 있을 수도 있잖아요.
Marius' sincere sentiment strikes you right in the heart. It brings you a different warmth and you can't help feeling touched. What a coincidence! The present I got for you matches perfectly with everything you just said.
내 선물이 있다고요?
Of course, look. As Marius watches you with a burning gaze, you pull out the present you got for him. After you hand it over, he carefully unwraps it.
이건...
Two cute little messenger gadgets sit in the box. Both devices are engraved with your and Mary's initials on the side. They are messaging devices for couples that I pick out. After connecting them to the corresponding software, we can send each other a message and they'll print them out in real time.
수업 시간에 돌리는 쪽지의 업그레이드 버전 같네요.
Yep, Pretty much, when we're at work, we can send notes to each other whenever something comes to mind. Wouldn't it be a nice surprise to get an unexpected note from each other once in a while? Marius holds his chin as if wondering something and then laughs.
그렇겠네요. 좋은 생각이에요.
Yeah, but do you think it's a little too childish? Before you can finish your sentence, Marius firmly takes your body by the waist, causing you to fall on top of him. He holds your right arm tightly. With a smirk, he looks at you with an affectionate expression. The warmth in his gaze is inexplicable. You suddenly appreciate the gentle and lingering melody in the room.
유치하긴 나한테 딱 맞는 선물인데요. 그리고 누나가 그랬잖아요. 이건 나랑 텔레파시가 통한 선물이라고요.
So, you like it?
그뿐이겠어요? 진짜 좋아요.
Marius leans in a little closer and lets out a quiet sigh, passing his warmth to you uninhibitedly. You can feel his heartbeat against the palm of your hand.
오늘 받은 서프라이즈도 그렇고 충분히 재밌었다고 생각했는데 누난 항상 그 이상을 주네요.
Did I? But it was just a small gesture. Perhaps it's because the room is dimly lit or you are already entranced. But the heat in Mary's gaze only seems to grow stronger.
네, 너무 많아서 어떻게 보답해야 할지 모르겠어요.
He pauses for a few seconds and then speaks in a low, husky voice.
아, 그러면 되겠다. 앞으로 맞이할 하루하루를 오늘 밤처럼 생생한 기억으로 남게 해줄게요.
You want to say something in return, but Marius interrupts your thoughts with what he does next. He leans in closer, burying his head in your neck. One after another, gently and patiently, he leaves a trail of kisses as gentle as butterflies. Marius, you. He looks up at you confused as if he is still unsatisfied. As Marius recognizes the inquiring tone in what you just said, an unpredictable smile reveals itself in his eyes.
왜요? 그냥 내일 누나한테 어떤 말을 전할지 영감을 찾고 있는 거예요.
After responding to you, Marius lowers his lips to your neck. Again, however, his actions are more intense this time. At some point, the lights go out. In the darkness of the night, you can only see the deep color of his hair. As the stars fall from heaven, the moon fades into oblivion, and you gracefully descend into the depth of ocean's embrace.